Hello, welcome back to the weekly wrap up, the show that you watch because your actual favorite YouTuber hasn't uploaded and you need something to watch while you eat your food. It's been a weird couple of days. I want to apologize for last week's upload, or I guess kind of lack of upload, although there was that kind of weird video that was made by AI. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's all sorted out now. It will never happen again. I can guarantee it. I guess that I should explain where I was during that time. The reason that I was gone was pretty simple. I was graduating, actually. My high school life is completely over, which is kind of sad, honestly. Because despite, not really liking the assignments or liking, waking up that early, which I'm doing now still, either way, I enjoyed the people that I got to see nearly every day, so I'm definitely gonna miss that. Going across that stage was a bit of a weird experience. It was only until I was handing them my note card so that they could say my name that I actually realized that this was kind of it. That I was graduating, which, kind of a bit late, but, I guess whatever. It was a surreal, but, fitting conclusion, I feel like. I'm genuinely happy with how it turned out. Besides, sitting in a warehouse for nearly half an hour. That actually really sucked. I didn't like that part, but the rest was cool. Anyway, why don't we get to some questions? I asked you guys last week to give me some questions to answer, and you kind of gave me some. Some people gave me some good ones. Other people asked about frogs. And one person just told me to make an autobiography. Why? I don't really know. I'm going to start from the questions that are more jokey all the way to the ones that are more serious, so it'll be kind of in that format. First question by Swift Turtle. If you had to be a frog, what type of frog would you be? I need at least a 2-minute explanation. I don't think I can give a 2-minute explanation of why I would want to be a frog, but I can give you the frog that I want to be. It's this little guy. He's so cute. It's the black-webbed tree frog. I just think he's really cute. And he's so happy. So yeah, I want to be that guy. He's who I strive to be. Seems to be really taken care of in his life. From Daniel Fart. How's your Riz? The Riz is pretty good. The Riz has been perfectly fine. Haven't been rizzing as much as I used to, but that's because I'm literally with you. So it would be a bit odd if I was rizzing. I hate this. I'm moving on. We need you to from random person. We need you to write a biography and sell it for $9.99. I don't think I'm gonna write a biography right now. But to be fair, I did write a biography. I had to do it for a history assignment, which is kind of weird, but it does make sense, but it also doesn't, because you would think that would be like an English assignment, right? But it was a history assignment, which also makes sense because it was the history of yourself. So all around, it was confusing, but it also made a lot of sense. It was alright. I've shown it to some people, but I don't think that it's really as good as I remember it being. Next question, in the final one, an actual question from Strockins. Can you go on a rant about your favorite movies? Which is your favorite one? In quotations, or not quotations, in parentheses. Is parentheses that one? I think it is. Whatever. In parentheses, I'm doing my job. This better be on screen too. I need that promo for real. This fucking guy. Yeah, I can give you my favorite movies. I have 5 favorite movies, so we're just gonna go down the list. And I don't really have a favorite one. More so I really like these movies, and I think they have an impact on me personally. Fallen Angels was just a really stylized movie, and I really like stylized movies. Movies that aren't just bland and unappealing to me. Fallen Angels is about two people who kind of are in love, and is about the weird and wacky situation that they kind of get into. This is the only movie that I don't really remember as much, but I do remember really liking it, which, I think it counts for something. It would probably be my second to least favorite on this list, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that there's better above it. Second would be A Fistful of Dollars. This is a spaghetti western movie from like the 70s or 60s. As a kid, I was raised by my grandparents, and one of the things that was always in the household was a TV and westerns. Bonanza, Gunsmoke, that sort of thing. So I always kind of grew up with western movies. So A Fistful of Dollars really hits that niche that I really liked a lot. It's very nostalgic for me because I grew up around like that sort of media. But A Fistful of Dollars isn't really just your regular, like, western movie. One of the most notable things is that Clint Eastwood's character isn't like a good guy, but he's also not like a bad guy. He's more of an anti-hero, so he's not like really picking a side. Clint Eastwood's character is found in like the middle of two conflicts. And Eastwood's character basically kind of like fucks the two over and makes like each escalate to a farther point with each other. And at the very end, he's the one who like gets away with it, and it's just a really well put together and amazing movie. I really do recommend if you are into the western genre. This is a must watch. The whole trilogy is a must watch. Next on the list would be Pink Floyd's The Wall. This is based off of the 1969 album. I think, is it in the 60s? No, I think it's in the 70s. 1979, right? Yeah, I think it's 1979. This is based off of the 1979 album, The Wall by Pink Floyd, and it's my favorite Pink Floyd album. I've talked to people about this album, and I've gotten mixed observations about it. It's too long, which is completely fair. It's a fair argument. There's a lot of fluff on this album, but I do think that it, like, really kind of sells the themes and ideas of what the album was trying to go for. I really relate to this album. I relate to the idea of isolation and, being, disassociating with the people that you're around and your situation. Pink Floyd's The Wall, the movie, is just a really stylized and beautiful version of the medium. And if you're somebody who really likes animation, you'll find something in this movie too, kind of like towards the end of it. There's this beautifully hand-drawn animation that they do that I think really works. The whole courtroom scene is animated like this, and, kind of sells this childlike innocence that the character goes through. Overall, I really love that movie. The next one is Requiem for a Dream. This movie is a kind of like analysis of what happens when addiction kind of takes over your life, and it's taken from the perspective of three different people. All of them are intertwined and connected. It follows Harry, Maureen, and Sarah. And then there's another guy named Tyrone, who is basically like Harry's friend. Sarah is the mother of Harry, and Maureen is the girlfriend of Harry. Harry and Tyrone sell, presumably heroin to make money. Harry and Marie are shown as just a loving couple who really care for each other, who are in a situation that is really fucked up, but they're trying to make the most of it. And then halfway through the movie, they kind of begin to drift apart. It really follows each one of their descent into addiction and how it really kind of destroys their life. Harry wants to make money so that he can, provide for his girlfriend and provide for his mother, who he really cares about and, wants to be the best for. Marie really wants to have her own store and wants to get away from the life that, has infested them. And Sarah really wants to fit into that fucking red dress. Each one of these are an analysis of a different kind of addiction. Harry becomes addicted to heroin. Marie is addicted to sex, I guess. Although that feels kind of iffy to say, and I don't want to, misinterpret it. So take that with a grain of salt, please. And Sarah is addicted to pharmaceuticals. Each of these characters kind of descend in their own way. At first, things seem to be going really well for each one of them. But quickly after Harry and Tyrone try to make a score and it goes completely wrong, they're fucked. Harry and Marie start to argue. Sarah is still kind of going on her own little, thing. And by the very end, each one of these characters are in the worst state of their lives. I just really think that, Requiem for a Dream it's not a preachy movie. It kind of is. Because, it's like drugs are bad, obviously. But it says all of this in, like, a way that is very, this is fucked up. And it's like, it's not a horror movie per se, but it's definitely a psychological movie. And it really leaves you thinking of, like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't, do this. The final movie is Perfect Blue. This is probably my favorite one of them all. Basically, there's a pop idol named Mima who is planning to go solo and become an actress. And there's one guy who really doesn't like that. He begins to stalk her. What makes this movie so interesting and, in my opinion, really profound was how it's kind of told. So basically, the movie that Mima is making and the movie that you are watching intertwine, and so it becomes incredibly difficult to tell what is real, what is fake, what is a part of the movie, and what is actually happening in the plot of the movie that you're watching. There are so many moments where Mima cannot tell what is happening and she is desensitized to it all. I really do recommend this movie. I recommend all of these movies. They're some of the most beautiful and heartbreaking movies that I've ever watched, and they have a profound effect on me, so that's why I like them. But enough of that. Let's get into the very last thing that I want to talk about. MP3 players. This is the INNIOASIS Y1, and for what it is, it's actually pretty good. If I had to give you a review in less than 3 minutes, this is how it would go. Part 1, hardware. Personally, it fits in my hand perfectly. It's plastic, but it doesn't have that cheap plastic feel, so it's not very wonky in your hand. The weight is just right, it's not too light or too heavy. As far as connection goes, it has a 3.5mm headphone jack and takes USB-C, so you don't have to use whatever the fuck that was. It has the beloved click wheel that was popularized by the iPod. In fact, I'm gonna cut the BS. This is just a knockoff iPod. It's not even trying to hide it. Part 2, OS. The operating system is fine, it works. Mostly. This is the only part of the Y1 that really knocks it off the pace that it was making with the hardware section. Correct me if I'm wrong, but before the newest firmware update, I don't think it was laggy with song names and albums like it is now. Another issue is the Bluetooth functionality that runs about as well as a snail. I tested it out with my AirPods the night before, and it worked perfectly. But in practice, it worked about 60% of the time. This genuinely annoyed me because the Bluetooth was a selling feature of the Y1, so for it to work a little over half the time felt unsatisfying and really irritating. There's a radio, which is cool when it has more than 2 stations. There's a video playback that I absolutely do not care about, as you can tell. There's audiobooks, which also double as podcasting, and the battery life is genuinely pretty impressive. Part 3, customizability. Customizability is a bit limited. But to be fair though, the latest firmware update added themes, basically a recolor of tabs and change of assets while still keeping the same GUI. It's actually quite easy to make your own, really easy. .json isn't rocket science. You can literally do this in a browser. Still, the community on Reddit are trying to find an alternative. So with time, I'm 99% sure that something better will come. Maybe somebody will be able to get rock candy on this thing and we can actually have some real customizability. Part 4, final opinion. The INNIOASIS is going to appeal to 2 types of people. Somebody who is just getting an MP3 player and doesn't want to spend $50 on their first. Or someone who is just a casual MP3 user who doesn't want to spend more than $50 on one. That's not bad, by the way, and from what the device is, it works really well. But if you're serious about your digital music catalog, there's way better out there for you. And that's it. That's all that I can say about the INNIOASIS Y1 or the INNIOASIS brand as a whole. There's definitely nothing past this point. You can just click off the video if you want to. Any legal representatives of the INNIOASIS brand, please leave. There's nothing for you here. Okay, now that the legal representatives of INNIOASIS are gone, I can now talk to you about the shady business of the INNIOASIS brand and how I think the way that they advertise their product is kind of shitty and scummy. When you first look at an INNIOASIS product, the first thing that you're going to notice is that it's supposedly on sale. This isn't just for the Y1. This is all of their products. It's kind of insane. So you're thinking, wow, I'm getting a pretty good deal on this. That is a lie. This is completely alleged, but I'm pretty confident in this take. What they're doing is kind of fucked up. My question to you is a product really on sale if it's been on sale for its entire lifespan? In my opinion, no, it doesn't. That just means that it's naturally just that much. Telling people that your product is on sale and that you can save 29% off when really it's just at its normal rate is, in my opinion, really fucked up. And for anybody who is new to buying an MP3 player or anything, is really scummy. they released some new color variations, and you would think that, okay, that would maybe warrant them going up in the price and going back to their regular price. But no, it's still the same price that it was 3 months ago. I just think that it's really scummy and really shitty for a brand to do this. And the part that makes it the most funny, in my opinion, is that there's no real reason for them to do it. There's not an incentive to, really. Because it would make far more sense if there was, like, competition, right? If the Inuoasis brand was, like, dealing with genuine competition of cheap MP3 players in the $50 to $30 range. But they have nobody that is really competing with them, at least on the level that they're at. So to me, it's just really weird that they're going to the length that they are. Anyway, I just had to say this. I could not in good faith completely give a review of something and not mention the scumminess that was. I hope that you appreciated my honesty with that, and I hope that you appreciated this video. I'll be back next week. I hope that you enjoy this. I do have an idea for a video, but that's gonna be like months down the line, I imagine. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. See you next week. Goodbye.